have to say for yourself?
We'd successfully tracked down 2 missing iPods taken in the San Francisco Bay Area. And another in Los Angeles, picked up from a bench, sold at a flea market, and days later given as a gift to this woman.
I'm shocked. Really shocked.
And remember, we were able to track all of them down simply because the users sent personal information about themselves once they registered our missing iPods. Registered them not just with Apple, the manufacturer, but also with Dateline. Remember this iPod shown being lifted in the Fremont district of Las Vegas? Well, when we checked the registration, it led us to this woman, not your average iPod customer, in the small town of San Jacinto, California. And it didn't take long for her to guess who we were.
Okay, this is not Dateline, is it?
You know, we get that all the time. Here, have a seat over here.
Obviously, she's not the person taking it on the video. She told us she got it as a gift.
And it was a gift from whom?
It was from my husband. He brought it back for me from Las Vegas.
The iPod had traveled 260 miles from where it was stolen. And this hard-working woman began to worry she was in a bit of hot water, especially because she knew who we were.
Because you're Chris, whatever from Dateline.
I'm Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen, yeah.
I get that all the time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I know I'm not a predator, so I'm like, okay.
What can be going on here?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what is going on. I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. And we're doing a story on stolen iPods.
Oh, you're kidding.
And
we know
that you didn't steal it. Okay. Oh. So you're not in any trouble.
Well,
here.
I know my husband didn't steal it either.
But
so where did her husband say he got the iPod?
Well, he told me he bought it off a guy that was sitting next to him at a poker table.
Okay. So he was playing poker.
He was playing poker.
And a guy next to him says...
He says, I won this playing poker. You want to buy it? And he bought it from him.
What's the lesson of this? I mean, clearly, this is not something that you're going to enjoy as much as you would had...
I doubt if I ever even use it now, to be honest with you.
Next, it was time to move on to New Jersey, where we'd had 5 iPods pinched from parking lots in shopping malls. First stop, the town of Kearney. This 17-year-old has registered our iPod but didn't use his real name. However, after installing our Dateline disc, he agreed to reveal the identity of his computer via things like email accounts and personal websites. We don't know if Apple has access to the same information when iPods are plugged into computers, but it did allow us to learn his real identity. And while he lied about his name, he did admit how he got the iPod.
Me and my friend actually found the iPod.
And where did you find it?
At a mall.
And the videotape backs up his story, to a point.
I told him, yo, there's a bag, we should return it. He's like, alright, well, go pick it up and we'll return it to Lost and Found.
Now, what you don't see on the video, but what we saw was you turning in the bag, but not the iPod.
Right.
Why turn in the bag and the rest of the stuff, but not the iPod?
I don't know. I know what I did is wrong. If I had to go back, I would have done it. Obviously.
Attempts to reach this young man's parents were unsuccessful. On his way out, he tells us he didn't even keep the iPod, but gave it to a friend. Remember this iPod taken off the roof of our car at the mall in Paramus, New Jersey? It found its way to the town of Clifton.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
The college sophomore who filled out our online tracking registration with her real name and address told us she got it the same way most people do. She bought it.
Where did you buy it?
Best Buy.
Best Buy. Was it cash, credit card, check?
Cash.
But the video doesn't exactly show her purchasing it at a Best Buy.
Now, does any of this look at all familiar to you?
Yes.
It does. And why does this look familiar to you?
Because that was the day that I found it.
And is that you right there?
Yeah. I took it and I kept going.
You took it and you kept going?
Yes.
You even do a little victory dance there.
Yeah.
Her defense? She'd been a victim of iPod theft herself, and this was a way to even the score.
Well, someone did it to me.
Somebody stole your iPod?
Yes.
So you figured you'd take somebody else's?
Well, I mean, it was sitting on top of the car. So, if I left it there, someone else was going to take it.
So you don't see anything wrong with what you did?
Well, yeah, I mean, I felt wrong when someone did it to me.
Then why would you do that to somebody else if you felt cheated when yours got ripped up?
because it's a cruel world, so everyone does it to everybody.
Does that make it right?
No, not at all.
And if there's anything else you want to tell me?
Of course, I apologize. I didn't know that they could be tracked, and I felt bad when it happened to me.
Then she does something we haven't seen before. She gives the iPod back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry for all that.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much. There it is. Another lost iPod has been found simply by using the online registration information. Finally, it's time for us to try and track down the rest of our missing iPods in Las Vegas. We find one in the hands of yet another 17-year-old, and like so many others, he claims it was purchased legitimately.
Do you know what store your mom bought the iPod at?
I'm not sure. I think that's mine.
But minutes later, after he's seen our video of him picking up our iPod from a table in the mall food court, then walking away, he appears to have learned a lesson and has some advice.
If you find it like a stolen iPod, just give it back to lost and found.
This young man's father later tells Dateline he thought we were unfairly tempting kids to take iPods. And finally, we meet this man.
Hey, man, how are you?
He filled out our online registration using his real name and address. First, he tells us he bought the iPod. Then he says he found the iPod. But none of this explains the video we have of someone who looks just like him lifting the iPod off a bench in a mall. His response?
You can equate it to walking down the street and finding a $100 bill on the floor. I mean, where are you going to take that if you're just in the middle of the street?
But this is a product that was in the mall, and you could have at least gone to Lost and Found it.
So I guess I used bad judgment at that moment.
We'd tracked down 12 of the 20 missing iPods. Some of those taken would never turn up because no one ever bothered to register them. So we can't be sure if any of these people actually tried to find who really owned the iPods in order to return them. But we do know it was easy to locate the ones that were registered, and we did it using some of the same information that owners provide to Apple when any new iPod is registered. What's next? What would Apple do if you report a stolen iPod to the company? Our hidden cameras head to the Apple Store.
Do you have people that you guys have on their iPods?
When To Catch an Hijacker continues.